The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond, you're listening to the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders and Diamond K.
Coming at you with an all-new RCWR Post Show on March 10th, 2013. And I hope you all are having a fantastic weekend. How about that TNA Lockdown pay-per-view from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas? Woo, Daddy. We are going to just cover everything that had went down in case you were not able to check out tonight's historic pay-per-view. We'd love to hear from you right now. We got the chat room loaded up at blogtalkradio.com. Feel free to jump on in there when you get a free moment. You can also take the time out to interact with us right now on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you all. Hit us up at Infinity One Prod. We already got about 18 people and counting in our chat room at Blog Talk right now, checking out our post show as we speak, down to 17, but that's all right. It's going to pick back up throughout the course of the night. What's up, Phil? What's up? I love TNA Wrestling. Shout out to you guys, as always, long-time listeners, long-time buddies that always jump into the chat room, have a few food for thought, if you will, on some of the things that's been happening in this crazy sport called wrestling. I'm going to be joined by co-host Diamond K in just a little bit, but in the meantime, let's go on ahead and let's have right at it. Let's go for that jugular, folks. Tonight, March 10th, 2013, mark it down on your calendar because this was the night that Do You Know Who I Am? Mr. Bully Ray became the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. But there is a catch to that, boys and girls. And the catch to that is Bully Ray is the president of one, those damn aces and eights. Let's pick it right up from the final few seconds of the match, let you know how it all had played out. Now, from what we were able to see for a majority of the match, it was one of those face versus face type of matches. There was a lot of respect. There was a lot of admiration towards one another. We even saw at one point Aces and Eights members try to interfere in this match. One, Wes Brisco and Garett Bischoff it was. We saw Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray, they team up, made quick work of them, got them out of the ring, got it back on. Looks like this was going to be one of those type of matches where we were actually going to see a clean finish, right? Not. As later on, we would see the one and only TNA General Manager Hulk Hogan, along with daughter Brooke, come on down to the ring. Bear in mind, Hulk Hogan still on his crutches, limping his way down to the ring with daughter, watching the match, rooting on Bully Ray, trying to will him into this, will him into getting this much-needed win and bringing that title over to the family. For Hogan, this was supposed to be a night where he is supposed to relive his glory days in his new son-in-law, as it's been a long time since he has tasted championship gold, and he just felt that on this night, maybe, just maybe, he would be able to do that through his son-in-law. Well, pretty much right as Hulk Hogan and Brooke came down and they're watching the action, we see all of the aces and members surround the ring. They actually climb into the cage, and we see Devon looking right at Bully Ray, and their eyes are just locked as we see Bully Ray, Jeff Hardy, back-to-back, just feeling as though it is them against the world right now. What Jeff Hardy does not realize as his back is pressed against Bully's is that Devon grabs into his trunks, if you will, pants, pulls out a little small mallet, tosses it to Bully Ray. Bully Ray looks at it. He's looking around. And, folks, the unthinkable happens. We see him hit Jeff Hardy over the back with it. And in true disgusting fashion, we see him go for the pin as everybody is still in shock at what they're just seeing. But it doesn't really dawn on the folks in attendance until referee Earl Hebner counts the 1, 2, 3. It's done. Stick a fork in it. D-O-N-E, done. We have a new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and his name is Bully Ray. Post-match, we see a very disgusted Hulk Hogan look on, peed off, daughter in tears, crying, as Bully Ray grabs the microphone and has some very heated words for the Hogans, saying that he never cared for Brooke, that he screwed her, and he screwed the Hulkster, and most importantly, he fooled everyone in attendance and everyone that has been supporting him all this time. It was truly a moment that as soon as I saw this go down, and I'm looking at the amount of debris that just came flying into the ring, folks, if you didn't order this pay-per-view, that moment alone, it just had me have shades of when it was revealed that Hulk Hogan was the leader of the NWO there. Remember that moment for you hardcore wrestling fans? Looked like Hulk Hogan was coming to the aid of the Macho Man, and instead he just delivered that series of leg drops, and turns out he's the member of the NWO. Mean Gene Okerlund, he tries to get in there post-match, have a few words with the Hulkster, wonder why he turned his back on everything that had gotten him to where he was at that point. And we just see the amount of debris just coming into the ring. Now, it didn't pour as bad as that particular moment had went down, but it was still just as bad as Bully Ray celebrated with his A&E brothers. And folks, this is how TNA is going to be kicking off, going on the road as their first stop in bringing us Impact Wrestling from various cities in the U.S. is going to be at the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois this coming Thursday night, as they've officially left the Impact Wrestling Arena down at the Orlando Studios in Florida. Truly historical night right here. I will shed a little bit more thoughts on Bully Ray being the TNA champion and the newest revelation, if you will, of being behind Aces and Eights. I'll cover that a little bit more in a little bit, but for now, let's go on ahead and let's run down the card in case you might have missed it. And for those of you that's tuning in right now, if it's your first time listening to us, we do thank you for checking out the show, and we hope you enjoy our content / coverage tonight. Let's pick it up with the first match that we had got on the card. We saw the one and only Kenny King defend his X Division title in a great triple threat match against Christian York, Zema Ion. Now, for those of you that were listening to Impact Showdown Radio this past Thursday night, right here on this very website, you know me and Diamond K, we were offering match predictions for tonight's pay-per-view, and I went on record and I said, you know, who could Kenny King possibly challenge for his title at the pay-per-view? I went on record. I said, you know, it would be badass if we could see Christian York maybe have a chance to compete for it, as he's a very solid performer. He just has an awesome offense. Would love to see him in there. Diamond K, he jumped out there. He said he'd like to maybe see Zema Ion. So what joy it was for both of us to be able to kick on back and be able to see these two guys in the match against Kenny King. And this match, in case you guys might have missed it, this was definitely a damn good way for Lockdown to kick off. For me, it was definitely one of the match stealers of the night. And the way I was looking at these matches, for those of you that were following the results over at our website at InfinityOneProductions.com, you know I do a little double duty on pay-per-view Sundays nowadays. I had graded each match on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being crappy, 5 being absolute best. And for that particular match, you know, I'm kind of thinking of it now. I can't really go verbatim what I said on the site. But now that it's kind of settled in, minutes have passed, I'm definitely looking at that particular match, and I just thought from a scale of 1 to 5, at least a 4, maybe a 4.5 out of 5. That was hands down a damn good match. Great strong opener. Not to mention TNA President Dixie Carter. She had revealed that a new TNA record was set, first time in history, as this live event that went down at the Aladome in Texas, the Lockdown pay-per-view, had its greatest attendance numbers yet. And that, to me, just definitely speaks large volumes right there. They still have a little ways to go, but they are making their stride, and they are continuing to move forward right here. Great props to them. But Kenny King successfully retained his X Division title. For those of you that might have been under the impression that maybe we were going to possibly see Rob Van Dam, sorry to disappoint you, hardcore RVD fans, but he did not make an appearance here tonight. Let's talk about the second match that had went down. We had the one and only trying to bring Sleazy back to TNA, Mr. Joey Ryan, who had been gone from Impact Wrestling for almost 8 weeks, make his eagerly anticipated return in a match that really did not have that much hype on it. It didn't even get plugged on Impact Wrestling from Thursday. It actually came announced on Twitter/Impact Wrestling's website. Joseph Park taking on Joey Ryan. Really nothing much you could really sink your teeth into for this particular match. No storyline, no nothing like that. Pretty much a filler match. First time now that Joseph Park is able to get a win, and a good wow at that. Joseph Park picking up a win over Joey Ryan. Really didn't particularly care too much for this match, as, if you were trying to check this out from a wrestling standpoint, you really didn't have anything to look forward to in this match. And I think those of you that watched this pay-per-view, you would definitely agree with those sentiments. This was just pretty much one of those, go grab some more chips, go grab some more beer, pretty weak match. I honestly had thought this match was, I would say at least a 2 out of 5. TNA Knockouts title was on the line as Velvet Sky defended it against Gail Kim. Now, you all knew that this match probably wasn't going to be as clear-cut. Question was, how was Velvet Sky going to be able to retain in decent fashion, as the past few outings that she's had in the ring really hasn't been looking that well, and if it has looked good, it's been because of the other knockouts that have been working with her to try to get her over legitimately as a posing threat of a champion, if you will. That's really the best words I can try to really paint for you guys. Well, this was all courtesy of Miss Referee Taryn Terrell. Now, she did a little bit of interference in this match. Now, if you've been watching your Impact Wrestling, then you know that Gail Kim, Taryn Terrell, they've been kind of going at it back and forth for at least the past couple of months now, almost right to the point where Taryn Terrell first made her debut in the company, and she's been calling matches, and Gail Kim's just been a little bit of a thorn in her side. And a critical point in this match, we saw Gail Kim, she was just really starting to lose her cool, and she was not listening to Terrell's count. She was almost abusing the 5 count several times. Taryn had to get up in her face and tell her, look, you can't keep doing that. And Gail Kim actually got physical with Taryn, wanting her to ring the bell. But Taryn refused to do it. And instead, what we ended up seeing happening was Taryn, who just got sick and tired of taking all the physical abuse from Gail Kim, just tackled her and just started pounding the hell out of her, and then got off of her, realized she made a huge mistake. But even at that, Velvet Sky came up from behind, got the victory. Velvet Sky able to retain the title that way. It was definitely a nice little finish to the match, I thought. But the real story was backstage as JB tried to follow up with Taryn Terrell, get word on why she lost her cool. Taryn, once again, what I echoed earlier, felt that Gail Kim was just abusing her too much. There was only so much she could take. Well, Gail Kim was actually looking for her in that backstage segment piece, as Gail Kim had jumped her from behind. Two girls, they're brawling. TNA officials, they have to break it up. Diamond, definitely a sign right here that the days of Taryn Terrell calling a match is over, at least for now, maybe.
Yeah, definitely, and it's the setup for the feud with Kim.
Yeah. And Philip, we agree. Taryn is hot as hell. She's got a nice little, shape on her. That's actually one woman I would not mind seeing at Hooters delivering a plate of wings and beer. Let me tell you, I would like to.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. But now, do you think they're going to do this right away and remove her as a referee, or do you think she might go with a couple of warnings and may continue to lose her cool over the next couple of weeks?
No, this is TNA. She's probably gonna. This is probably gonna officially start on Thursday.
Okay. We saw Big Rob versus Little Rob. It was the battle of the Robs. This was pretty much a no-brainer right here for us, Diamond. We pretty much called this. We said Rob T should definitely be victorious in his match against Robbie E. I thought the match was just a little bit too drawn out, though. I kind of felt as though, I could kind of understand from the booking standpoint, they didn't want it to be a squash match, because they had a little bit of storyline going on there, so they kind of wanted it to go at least for 10 minutes there. But I just thought that, I don't know, it just felt a little too long for me. Were you kind of picking up the same vibe?
Yeah, I mean, what's the reason this wasn't the opening match?
That's a damn good question.
Can you come up with any?
I couldn't answer that. I agree, though. It should have been the opener.
Yeah, they could have easily made this the opening match. The good guy's going to win. And, I don't know. It wasn't placed right. I think that X Division match should have probably been in this spot.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, that definitely would have been right to put it in that area. Let's talk about that Bobby Roode, Austin Aries. Now, a lot has happened since last we were on the air, Diamond. We were last on the air Thursday night. And, we kind of heard a little rumblings there. I did kind of point it out there. I said, okay, if Bobby Roode doesn't show up to Lockdown, maybe we're going to see new tag champions. Well, then again, if Bobby Roode does show up, then, hey, all right, these guys, they should retain, no problem. And as we would find out, there was actually a little bit of a contract problem with Bobby Roode. Turns out, folks, his contract, for those of you wondering why you hadn't seen him past couple of weeks, his contract had actually expired with TNA Wrestling a few weeks back, and he wasn't even sure what was going on with his status in the company, and it got to the point where he actually had to go to talent head Bruce Pritchard and say, what's going on with my status? And, this is something that you don't like to read about, but Bruce Pritchard actually forgot about the it factor in professional wrestling. Mr. Bobby Roode, who many wrestling fans, and not just wrestling fans, but many wrestling greats, the Steve Austins, the Bret Harts, you name them, they've gone on record and said that guys like Bobby Roode, they need to take their ball, they need to leave the WWE, get with the big dogs. And, I just want to make sure we have the most accurate information for you guys as possible. Now take this with a grain of salt right now till you hear otherwise. Bobby Roode worked tonight's match. They've reached an agreement, but as far as a new contract, we're not hearing that he's under a new deal just yet. He just reached an agreement to basically definitely do what he did tonight and teaming up with Austin Aries to take on the team of Chavo and Hernandez and Daniels and Kazarian, Bad Influence. Diamond, I definitely want to get your thoughts on that tag match, but also something that's a first for our TNA Post Show. I definitely want to get your thoughts on Bruce Pritchard and crew dropping the ball there on Bobby Roode.
It's very surprising that something like this could happen. I want to say a major act. I mean, he's a former multiple champion. And they could just allow this to happen. I mean, do you think that they really forgot, or are they really just trying to get rid of him?
I honestly think they forgot. I honestly do. I think that with the bully,
ridiculous. Why would they? How could this happen?
Because they were so focused on.
Because
they were so focused on Bully Ray and the Jeff Hardy. Remember, they had been trying to get Jeff Hardy to re-sign since, what was that, I believe last October, November, they tried to begin negotiating with him. So you don't like hearing that, but it is what it is. They actually forgot about a guy that at one point helped carry the company to the point of where it is right now.
Right. Like you said, it is definitely something that you don't want to hear. My concern, though, is how valuable is Bobby Roode to TNA? If he left, would it really hurt the company? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Nah. He would definitely be missed, though.
Yeah, he would definitely be missed. Would WWE see him as a benefit? I don't know.
That remains to be seen, because they could try to have him come in like Fandango.
Yeah, easily. But I mean, I don't think that Bobby Roode's going anywhere. I think that they are going to keep him there, and I think they're going to bring him in for probably less money or something like that. I don't think that this is intentional. I think this is intentional, and I think they're going to try to lowball him on his contract. I'm not sure if we'll actually know the details of his contract, but I'm pretty sure that WWE was not knocking down Bobby Roode's doors, to sign him.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a huge. That's not something you hear every day. A former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, his contract just expired and he hasn't been re-signed yet, and it's kind of like he can go pretty much any damn where he wants to at this point. Definitely put a big smile on my face, though, to see him at Lockdown. How'd you enjoy the tag match?
Definitely. I really think it was probably the best match of the night.
Really?
Yeah.
It's definitely
match quality.
Yeah, he's definitely up there with that X Division match. Yeah,
from what I hear, TNA is trying to get another show, another weekly show, which I guess would allow them to, I'm assuming, expand on some of the storylines and give some of the guys more of a story to work with. I'm not sure necessarily if that's the best idea, but I'm sure that that's what they're shooting for with an potentially expanded TV time on Spike. This match really showcased all of the participants in a positive light and gives them a really good showcase.
Good crowd reaction for the hometown boys, Chavo and Hernandez there. And, speaking about the hometown folks, I know she did a little bit of meet and greet over the weekend in the area. I believe it was at a couple of local direct auto insurance stores. But I just thought that it was just a little bit dumbfound that we did not get graced with an appearance by the lovely Miss Bootylicious Brooke Tessmacher, who lives in Houston, Texas. I mean, so it's only like a 3-hour drive to San Antonio. I was I was almost crying on the inside there, man. But, you know, I was like, well, what's going on here, man? It's like, you know, she's just right over the river. You know, go scoop her up, man. Bring her, you know, let's see her. That would have been a good intermission right there for that bit Robbie versus Robbie match, I thought. And how about the Wes Brisco versus Kurt Angle? We talked about that when we said, okay, Wes Brisco, his first pay-per-view match, he definitely needs to come out strong. Kurt Angle, the win does nothing for him. He does need to try to put over Brisco. How were you looking at this particular match? As I thought Brisco, he did a phenomenal job in the ring, more than what I was actually expecting.
I mean, was it a phenomenal job, or were our expectations so low that that he surpassed them?
I think our expectations for him was very low, as I'm sure many people, you know, because it's like you go with how he's talking, and you know, I mean, you look at him, you say, okay, he's got a good physique, yeah, he's freaking awesome, but you know, he talks, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, and I didn't think he was going to be able to take those type of bumps, you know. I mean, offense, you know, I was more pleased with the amount of bumps that he took, and it just kind of said to me, okay, well, the booking did right here. You know, looks like Wes Brisco's off to a decent start.
Yeah, he's off to a decent start, and obviously, you know, D'Lo gets a lot of the heat for the win. Do you think that we're going to see a D'Lo Angle match somewhere down the line?
Oh yeah, with Kurt Angle, yeah. I mean, we already seen the seeds get planted tonight, as Kurt Angle told D'Lo, you know, he hasn't forgotten about him and the disgust that he's brought to the company, betraying all the people in it. Yeah, I definitely see it happening. And, you know, for folks that's kind of wondering, you know, D'Lo Brown, he still does a little something from time to time on the independent circuit, but you know, mainly he just kicks on back and he does the whole gut check seminar. You know, he's one of the main guys that you will always meet if you're trying out for them. He's one of the ones you will always meet there, offering tips and all that good stuff. And, yeah, I could definitely see it happening. And for those that might think he's too old, the guy's only 42 years old. I mean, yeah, that's, you know, it's a little up there, but, you know, it's still relatively young.
Yeah.
You know, and answer your question, though, yeah, I definitely think we could definitely possibly see a Kurt Angle versus D'Lo Brown, and I think that would be very interesting, and we know how D'Lo is on the mic. That guy has some good chops on him.
He does, and I like you said, only being 42, in wrestling years, it is not that old, and I think that he's not abused his body to the degree that a lot of wrestlers have, and I think that his bump card, so to speak, is not full. So he can still go.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And welcome those of you that might be tuning in. He's Diamond K. I'm Lee Sanders. You're checking out the RCWR Post Show. We're covering the fallout from tonight's TNA Lockdown pay-per-view. We got one more match to talk about, but I definitely want to get your takeaway from that main event match that we highlighted at the opening of the show. TNA pick up the victory over Aces and Eights. And I love the little bat reference that Todd Kenley had put in there when Sting had came on out, and he just started hitting people with that bat. He said, "Who's afraid of the big black bat?" I just thought that was just the most cleverest thing to hear from the commentators all night, as I was just in excruciating pain hearing Taz. And, you know, some of you guys, you may think I'm just being very critical on Taz. And I was actually interacting with a couple of people tonight on Twitter. And mad shout-out to those of you that took the time out to interact with me. And I just want to pull up a couple of quick comments here. I thought what y'all had said of Taz was very funny. Of course, this guy on Twitter, he is a legend. I'm sure many of you all probably follow him. Not Dave Meltzer on Twitter. He said the following: Taz talking about how Robbie E has no strategy in this match as he works over the arm for 2 minutes. And let's see if we can pull up one more for you guys. No, that was it. That was pretty much the main one I had read. And, yeah, I was a little bit excruciated with Taz. It was almost to the point I was kicking back. And I said to my girlfriend, Diamond, I said, you know who Taz reminds me of now? It's like, now I know why I'm always so irritated with his commentating, why I can't take him so seriously. It's like, you know who he reminds me of? She's like, who? I said, he reminds me of Spike the dog from Tom and Jerry. He's like, ha, 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 that's my boy, you know. You know, just go on, hop on YouTube, pull up Tom and Jerry, and, you know, you'll be able to make the comparison. I mean, that's pretty much Taz. I mean, every time he opens his mouth, he's like, ha, 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 is that a boy? Ha, ha, you know, it's like.
Did you like his commentary in WWE?
That's the weird thing. I can remember his commentating in WWE, and it seemed like it was more, I hate to say the word decent, but when I play it back in my mind, his commentating seemed more tolerable in WWE as opposed to TNA. It's kind of like in TNA, they just said, look, you don't have to call no matches, just kick back and, you know, just shoot the shit. It's okay. And it's like, ho, ho, ho. Look at that, Tanae. Ha, ha. Yeah, that boy. You know, whereas in WWE, you know, he couldn't help but always say, well, you know, being as a person who used to wrestle, you know, I can honestly tell you when that type of headlock maneuver is applied, you know, that does a lot of damage to the spine. And, you know, Taz seemed to be a little bit more in the wrestling talk in the Big E.
Yeah, I think he was produced when he was on SmackDown heavily, and I don't think he's produced at all here. And I think that Dixie and Company have a WWE is the right way to go, so to speak. And people with that background, she just kind of lets do their thing. I've never been a fan of Taz on commentary. Even during his ECW run, I didn't see what the big deal about him was. Never been a super fan of Taz. And I just think he comes off as completely frustrated. And it's like he wants to get back in the ring and he can't, so he's just grumpy about it.
Now, see, you put an interesting question out there. We're keeping in mind how Sting came on out there, 2 trash cans in hand, full of weapons. You know, if I was booking this, you know, I understand Taz doesn't want to get physical. Okay, I get that. But, you know, if I'm writing this, I would have Taz look at Sting and go, oh, snap, this guy's getting ready to bring a boatload of weapons into the ring. I would have had Taz pick up a steel chair from behind the commentating booth and whack Sting upside it, you know, with it, and then toss him in the ring, you know, throw the weapons in there, try to pass him out to his brothers in arms. You know, the match could have still...
he's definitely not doing that.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like, damn, Taz, what will you do for aces and eights besides kicking back and, you know, just sporting the vest?
Right.
I don't know. I just thought that was, you know, it seems like every time a right scenario pops up where you think Taz is going to do a little interference on behalf of his brothers, it doesn't happen. And this was definitely a case where I was looking, I'm saying, okay, maybe Taz is going to do something because he's pretty close to the ring. And it didn't happen. But damn good showing from this tag match, especially that sweet spot there that Showtime Eric Young did from the top of the cage, delivering that Macho Man elbow drop. Good way to finish the match.
For the win, yeah.
Yeah.
They gave Eric Young a lot, and I think going forward, his placement in the company, his position seems to be elevated.
Yeah. No matter how many times he may go on his little hiatus and do his fishing shows, it seems like he's always welcomed back with open arms. Seems like his spot in the company will always remain right where it is. And that's good. It always puts a big smile on my face when I see EY. He's definitely one of my favorites. And, of course, we got to recap that main event match one more time, in case those of you might have missed it from the very beginning. Bully Ray, Jeff Hardy. Looks like we were going to have a straight-up babyface versus babyface. It did look like that. We thought it was going to be an honorable match. Saw aces and eights. They came out. Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray made quick work of them. Match resumes, and these two guys are just getting it on, and it's actually starting to look like maybe this was going to be a pay-per-view that was going to end with two people that respected the hell out of each other, just wanting to deliver a good match in front of a good crowd, right? Yeah, and I know that's a big load of crap. So we see Hulk Hogan, Brooke Hogan, they come out. And at this point, okay, we're down to the final minutes. It's time to wrap this up. And just at that point, we see the other Aces and Eights members. They come on now.
Right.
They climb into that steel cage. Bully Ray, Jeff Hardy, back-to-back, pressed up against each other. Looks like it's them taking on the world. Devon looking at Bully Ray. Dips into his pants, pulls out that little small mallet. Bully Ray, wham! And that is it for Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy laid out as a frustrated Errol Hebner, has no choice but to count the 1, 2, 3. Mark it on your calendars. March 10th, 2013. It goes down diamond as the night that Bully Ray shocked the world and became the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. But part 2 of that, he reveals that he is the president, and I believe I heard that correctly. He is the president of Aces and Eights. Your overall takeaway from the match and the overall 2 big part revelation there?
Well, it's strange because it kind of defies logic, character logic, to have him go through all of this for the world title. But that's what happened. I'm sure that he's going to be able to come up with an excellent promo. As I saw it unfold, I was just sad to see my Brooke Hogan theory go up in flames. It's good. I think that Jeff Hardy will be better as Sting was. He's better chasing the title than actually holding it. And I think from that standpoint, we're going to go into this next pay-per-view, I believe, in June, with Bully Ray defending against Hardy.
I looked at those final moments, and it's all playing back in my head. It's still fresh, and I'm just thinking to myself, how badass would that have been if it would have been Jeff Hardy? I mean, talk about just a weird curveball,
But he can't pull off a heel turn.
Really? I thought the work that he did there with, what was that, Immortal, I thought that was pretty decent. I mean, he was a little, he wasn't in his right state of mind because of some stuff he was taking, but, I thought he was pretty damn good when he was a heel in Immortal.
Well, I mean, I've never been a fan of Jeff Hardy's mic skills, and in order to pull off a heel turn of this degree from a babyface, he needs to be good on the mic, and Jeff Hardy is not. But with a strong cast, he can be serviceable. But I think the best place for him is as a face. I don't know. It seems to be a few of the things that Hogan said during his pep talk with Bully Ray just further the fact that Hogan really wants to be in the ring.
Yeah, he wished he could get the title, and yeah. I mean, you know, I can't help but kind of wonder to myself, and I'm sure many folks are wondering this same question, if this was going to be the end result with Bully Ray being part of Aces and Eights, then why didn't they do this sooner? You know, but at the same time, some may argue the Brooke Hogan, you know, like you said there, you know, that would have been a very interesting angle to go, you know, especially if you didn't want to have Bully Ray be part of that. It just could have been, okay, well, who the heck is Brooke Hogan in cahoots with? Because she could have been the first official girl in Aces and Eights. And now it kind of appears, at least for now, that we don't have that. And we have Bully Ray as the TNA champion. And, you know, I think that TNA was just trying to go for that shock value standpoint. They were, you know, they know that from here on out they're going to be going to various cities, and they want to have a lot of momentum going on the road. So I can definitely understand why they went on ahead and they did what they did with Bully Ray. Yeah. But personally, I wouldn't have gone that route. I would have probably flirted with something else. Actually, I had a very good theory that I had brought up this past Saturday on the Match Prediction Special. I said, hey, you know, maybe you could kind of have Matt Morgan come on now, kind of do what he did this past week, but this time lay both men out, since they want to be all good two shoes to one another. Lay both of them out, or heck, maybe you could have even had bearded AJ Styles come out, and you know you could have gave him. You could have made it play off in a way where you saw the Aces and Eights members. They still could have came on now, and they surround the ring. You know, our match, it pretty much ends in a no contest, and then we see AJ Styles. He comes along after the entire TNA roster comes out to try to fight Aces and Eights, and pretty much once it's down to about maybe two people from Team TNA, you could have had AJ come out, and it's like, oh, AJ's returning. He's returning to the flock, the house that AJ built. Yes, he's back, and then he could have laid out those last two TNA guys to kind of give you the impression that AJ Styles has joined Aces and Eights, and that could have been, you know, something to take on the road that way. I just kind of feel that it's a little bit too soon to go the heel Bully Ray route. However, I do appreciate heel Bully Ray. Let me get that straight right now.
Yeah, I mean, his best work is in this role and in the Bully Ray, heel Bully Ray mode. I mean, to me, it's almost like, why did they even turn him face?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm trying to remember. I guess when he was feuding with Austin Aries, he got some world title shots, right?
Yeah, Austin. Yeah, he got a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I guess they're going to maybe try to go from the angle that, you know, he wasn't getting a fair shake and he had to do this, but we still don't know the purpose of Aces and Eights.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose could not have been just to get the title around Bully Ray's waist. Why would all these guys care?
Exactly. But, I mean, it's definitely going to have TNA wrestling fans talking. And mad props to TNA and Dixie. They've set a new attendance record. First in TNA history, they've been able to get good numbers like this for a pay-per-view event. Hopefully this trend continues as they are now going to be going on the road. And any fond memories you might have real quick of TNA being in Orlando, Florida there, as, you know, now it looks like that's pretty much it, you know, although they will be coming back once in a blue moon. But you have any fond memories from Impact Studios there in Florida?
I mean, I think that we can say a lot of things about TNA, but I think that they have been steadily progressing forward from the weekly pay-per-views up until, where they are now. And I think that this is a good step along the way. So the era of that is gone. I think that while it was around, it made sense. It had its good and bad points, but at least they had a steady home, even if we didn't appreciate the enthusiasm of all of the people in attendance.
Yeah. I mean, that's 9 years in front of pretty much the same crowd on a weekly basis. It can definitely get stale. You can only do but so much, and I think to TNA's credit, they did fairly well in front of that same crowd for 9 years. Always trying to be fresh, always trying to be innovative there, and now they're going to be taking on their truest test yet, and now we're really going to see and hear what the crowd likes and what they don't like, and what a great place to start than Chicago, Illinois. Chicago is the place for all things wrestling, especially independent wrestling. Definitely, they're going to get a true idea of what it is that fans want, and I would just hope that for the constructive criticism that's to come from some of these cities, especially the major wrestling cities, I hope TNA kicks back and they take it in with open arms, and they try to tweak it in a way where, okay, that's obviously not working, let's try this, So I got my fingers crossed. I'm definitely rooting these guys on, and I want to let you guys know something real quick before we go off the air. It looks like TNA Wrestling, they are going to be taping a pay-per-view event, Diamond. Looks like it's going to be an all knockouts pay-per-view. And I believe that's going to be going down later this month. I did have the exact date. I can't remember it right now, though. But it's going to be an all knockouts event. That one should be very interesting. FYI, they tried to reach out to Shine Wrestling's own Amazing Kong and their newest acquisition, Angelina Love. Both women, however, turned the invitation down, as they revealed on TNA Wrestling. So very interesting development right there. We'll continue to stay on top of that, though, and any more knockout information we're able to get on that for that particular pay-per-view, we'll definitely let you guys know about it. I got my fingers crossed for that one. I think that one might actually end up being a damn pretty good pay-per-view. And right before we go off the air, I got to show some love to Philip and Robert, as well as all the guests that's in our chat room right now. We got about 22 people. And, yes, Philip, all knockouts pay-per-view is going to be coming up. That should definitely, I'm definitely going to check that out. I must say I'm very curious, and if you're a supporter of women's wrestling, then you definitely want to check that out. Maybe we'll see some old names return, Diamond. Maybe we could see Sarita. I thought Rosita was pretty good. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing Nikki Rocks come back, one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, no complaints. No complaints from me on that one.
Yeah. And, of course, if you're going to do an all-knockouts pay-per-view, you got to have, yes, puppies, Philip, yes, puppies. But actually what I was going to say was you got to have ODB in there. You just got to. So should be very interesting. All right, that is it. Overall, scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Lockdown?
1 to 10, I give it a 6.
Where could they have improved?
I definitely think that some of the commentary really hurts a lot. I think that match order they got wrong, but and a little execution here and there, of course, some human error. But I mean, all in all, this experiment, if you will, that they're going into these quarterly pay-per-views, I think is going to be better. I think that this is one of the best pay-per-views that they put on in quite some time. So, I mean, they're definitely on, the upward stride.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would have to give it a 7.5. Some of the way that they did some of the matches, the ordering, it could have been tweaked a little bit more, like we were talking about earlier. Should have been the Joseph Park, Joey Ryan. That really should have kind of kicked things off right there. Or they could have went with the two Robbies. That could have kicked it off. And then they kind of could have had a few more minutes to tell with some of the other great matches, like that Triple Threat X Division match or the Tag Team title match. I thought it was really cool that we had that little intermission segment where they showed guys building the steel cage or assembling it. I thought that was really cool before they showed us that video promo for Slammiversary 9. And for those of you curious, Slammiversary 9 is going to be happening in Boston, Massachusetts on June 2nd. Tickets go on sale later this month. That should be a very interesting event. They got plenty of time to build up to that. About, 3 months, Diamond?
Yeah,
about 3. A lot can happen in 3 months. So, of course, we're going to be covering it all and guide you all to that event. And in the meantime, the talk of wrestling, it may end here, but for the very latest, check us out at InfinityOneProductions.com and on Facebook at Infinity One Productions, like our page. And you can follow Diamond on Twitter at The Diamond K Show, also on Instagram, also on Facebook too, yeah?
Yep, at The Diamond K Show.
Diamond K Show, that's right. And that's going to do it, folks. We're going to be on a little bit of a well-deserved hiatus for now. We will come right back this Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for our Wrestling Report edition of the RCWR Show. Do join us. Historical moment. It's going to be officially our 1-year anniversary show, and we're going to be doing it in style just to give you guys a little bit of a preview. We'll be covering the fallout from WWE Raw. We're also going to have a very interesting, in-depth discussion, and Diamond, this gives you a little bit of time to marinate on it now. We're going to go in-depth about The Rock and his place in WWE, as now word has come out that he's been able to work out a new deal with WWE that will not only see him past WrestleMania, but he's going to be working several dates leading up into the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, maybe even after. The question has to come into mind, is John Cena's win over The Rock at this year's WrestleMania in jeopardy? We'll go into a great in-depth discussion about that, and we'll also talk about how has it been so far being on air this past year, and it's going to be a good show. We'll definitely be kicking back and thanking you guys for continuing to support us, so make sure you check that out this Tuesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern. Hey, Be Kind Rewind. All the episodes you might have missed, check them out in the iTunes, Stitcher marketplaces. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Once again, thanks to everybody that participated in our chat room tonight. 22 people. Did pretty damn good tonight. That's going to do it. He's the one and only Diamond K. I'm the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. Everybody be safe. Be kind to one another. We'll see you this Tuesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern. TNA fans, strictly TNA fans, we'll see you this Thursday night for Impact Showdown Radio at 10 p.m. Eastern. All right, guys, take care.